Hi, it's Mike. Welcome to the Bonsai channel. Today I want to repot this juniper, plus I'd like to wire it. I've already wired one like this, and I'm liking that. That's starting to look good, but I realize I can prune and wire at any time. So what I'd like to do is go ahead and get this in a pot and make sure it's in the nice potting soil that we've made, and secure it in the pot, and then in a future video I will wire it and thin it out a little bit. So let's get started. Alright, so I have the tools I need. I have a kitty, I have my tools, I got some screen, some wire in the back here, the bonsai soil, a nice bonsai potting kit, and the bonsai that I want to put in the pot. So first things first, what I want to do is cut some screen so that I can put it in the holes, and that way the soil won't flush out of the pot. So let me go ahead and cut some screens to the right size. Alright, so I have some screens that'll fit over the holes. Alright, so I have to make some clips to hold the screens in place. So first thing I do is bend the wire out a little bit, make a little wave kind of thing. Using a chopstick. Bending the wire around like so. So that I have a shape like that. Then you just have to bend them down. And since that hole is so small, so get through like that. And basically stick it in the hole and nose down. So as you can see, I have way too much wire. I'll just bend it around. So that will hold that screen in, and that's not going anywhere. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do the other one. Alright, so I have the clips in, and the screen's not going anywhere. But on the back, that's what it looks like, but realize that you don't have to have all these curls and stuff. I just did that because I had extra wire. So, alright. Next, let's prepare the bonsai to go in the pot. Now, there's all this peat moss around the roots, and I don't really like that because I didn't go to all the trouble to separate out the soil and sieve the soil so that I could have the roots of the tree just caked with peat moss. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attack it with the spray nozzle on a garden hose. So let's go over to the garden hose and start that process. I found a place where I can wash this out without causing too much damage, and I have a Masakuni spray nozzle, one of the old old style, and a thing on my hose that allows me to vary the flow. So I'm going to go all out and just see what I get. Alright, well, as you can see, I've taken out most of the soil from the roots, and I just have a mass of fine roots here. So now I can repot it. Alright, well, this is the roots, and that's all I have. There's not a lot to pack in. It's pretty dense in and of itself. Now it obviously fits in the pot, but my main concern is holding it in the pot. So what that means is I'm going to have to wire it in. So now I need to get a piece of wire. I need to cut a piece of wire long enough to go through the roots and through the holes on the pot, and then I'll tie it off in the back to hold it in the pot. So I'll go ahead and cut that piece of wire and get that ready. Okay, I've got two pieces of wire here. One's going through the root ball. That's the only place I could get it through. And then there's a little notch right here, so a little saddle that I'm going to make another longer piece of wire go over and through the pot. Now I want you to know that this plant comes from Dallas Bonsai Garden. It's a juniper, and you can see the roots. Here's another one from Dallas Bonsai as well, and I pulled the roots out on this one as well. So you can see they're perfect. These plants are ideal for bonsai because of the roots, and look how healthy they are. Anyway, I just thought I'd show you that. So now I'm ready to pot the tree. What I want to do is I want to remember from the last video, I want to use large pieces on the bottom of the pot, medium-sized pieces in the middle of the pot, and small-sized pieces on the top. That way it simulates nature, and it gives the roots of this tree will actually start to stratify into the different areas, and it just gives a lot more air where air is needed. It gives a lot more moisture where moisture is needed. Using this method, you will have to water twice a day, but or once to 2 times a day, but you should be watering every day anyway. So it's actually the ideal way to do it. So in order to get the tree into the pot, what I'm going to do first is put the large pieces on the bottom. A nice layer of large pieces on the bottom. Now, I have, of course, holes at the bottom of the pot. I want to get these wires through those holes. And it just takes a little finagling. There's one. And 2. There we go. So see the wires coming out. Alright, now I want to sit the tree in the pot. And it's sitting on that larger stone, and I want to tighten that down. for right now, I'm just going to bend it over on the underside, okay? So that I can go ahead and get this other wire through. A lot of this is by feel. So now, why did I do it that way? Cover the holes with the rocks so that I couldn't see the holes? Well, because basically I wanted to make sure there was stone up underneath the roots so that the roots weren't sitting directly on the bottom of the pot. And I could have lifted it up afterwards maybe and forced it under there, but I just didn't want to do that. Alright, so what I did was I pulled the wires through and spun them together really hard, really tight, cut them off and folded them up against the bottom of the pot. Because of the feet, those won't be seen, and you know, the pot sits flat on the ground, on the table, wherever. Also notice how tight that tree is into the pot, so it's not going anywhere. Now what I want to do is just add a little bit more of the larger size and just continue to pot the tree up. My chopstick, just kind of move the large stuff around. Excellent. So now we're going to get the medium. So this is a good example of how much of the potting soil you actually need to make. Up in there. Excellent. Now for the small. This one I like to use the chopstick from Dallas Bonsai. Kind of pack it in. Because remember, I'm not worried about the tree falling out. It's wired in. I just want to get the soil smooth and all the roots under it. Excellent. So there we are. Now, let me water it. I'm going to put some moss on it. I like to let it soak through a minute. I dig this moss up near here and keep it in a paper bag, and it gets green in the paper bag, so I noticed that if it's dark enough, the moss continues to grow, but if it ever gets a lot of sun, then it stops working. So I'm gonna wet this to make it easier to use. Alright, now I don't have to put moss on it because I actually like the texture of the soil. Because I use 4 different kinds of soil, it looks actually really nice, but I just want to hide the wire and make it look more like, I don't know, have a difference. We'll see. You never know what it'll look like until you do it, so that's all I want to do, is try it. Alright, I'm going to leave it like that, because then that'll give a difference, a contrast, and if I can see the soil, I know when it needs watering. So anyway, there we go. It's rock solid in that pot, and I can work on thinning it and wiring it at a later time. So we'll do that video soon.